Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and we are live here on the Fireside Yankees YouTube channel. My name is Ryan Garcia. This is Fireside Yankees. We are on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and of course, this YouTube page. You can also check us out on our website, empiresportsmedia.com, for written coverage on all of your favorite New York sports pages and all your favorite New York sports teams. With that being said, though, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing okay. I have a lot we're going to talk about here with this episode. We're going to talk a lot about different offensive pieces to maybe boost a slumping offense. It's a team that's really struggled to hit in big spots lately. And look, we're going to get through a lot. There's going to be a lot for us to talk about. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys say what's up. We're going to be answering questions. We're going to be taking all your questions, all of that and more. We're doing these 2 p.m. live streams. The goal is PM live streams at least 5 times a week, primarily during the week and during weekdays, because that's just kind of when I'm the most around. But again, we really appreciate you guys being around, being here. And yeah, so yesterday I did talk about Willie Castro, and we're going to start talking about Willie Castro as the guy to target for the Yankees, because as I reported on empiresportsmedia.com, Willie Castro is someone the Yankees have displayed interest in the past. They displayed interest in acquiring Willie Castro this past winter. The New York Yankees were unsuccessful in their pursuit of Castro. The Minnesota Twins decided to hold on to him, and that could be something the Yankees revisit at this deadline. I know the Minnesota Twins are currently focused on competing and contending, and that won't change for now. But that could change come deadline time, and they could be willing to move expiring contracts. That is a team that could use pitching help. That is a team that can use pitching prospects. That is a team that can use all sorts of prospect help or all sorts of help they can get at both the major and minor league level. So I do believe that the Yankees are an organization that will at least call on Willie Castro, because, again, they displayed interest at this year's deadline. And so I'm going to tweet out the link right now, and we're going to get to questions in a second. I totally forgot to tweet the link. So you're going to hear me typing. So let's get started with this question here from Brandon Moore. Ryan Garcia, Yankees lineup aren't working the count. Giancarlo Stanton strikes out. Josh Chisholm strikes out with runners in scoring position. We've got to do better. Yeah, the Yankees have been very poor with runners in scoring position. This is something that has been an issue for the Yankees this month, particularly. In previous month, they had performed fine with runners in scoring position, but in this stretch, they have truly been abhorrent with runners on and with runners in scoring position. I personally believe that this is something that will come to pass. I think the Yankees will play better baseball with runners in scoring position. But until they do so, that division lead will start coming to an end, and that division lead will start shrinking more and more and more. It is something that they have to work on. It has to get better. They have to be better at in those situations. They have to also honestly be better at situational hitting. They have to understand how to get those runs across, because those runs, even 1 or 2, is extremely valuable, especially when you're trying to win a baseball game. And it does feel like there's a little bit of, hey, this team's not cashing in on opportunities. Yesterday, they went 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, lost a very winnable baseball game. And you know that, granted, Allen Winans versus Nick Lodolo, that's not a game you're supposed to win, but you had Nick Lodolo on the ropes very early in that game. He had tossed 50 pitches and had given up a ton of traffic through the first 2 innings, had even more traffic in the third. The Yankees were unable to cash in multiple situations with runners on and opportunities to get back in the baseball game, and they were simply unable to do so. I think one of the things that really upset me in the decision-making, though, was the decision to not have Ben Rice hit in the top of the 8th. That is probably your best opportunity to get back in the game. You may never have another opportunity to get back in the game, and they did not use Ben Rice. And if you're manager Aaron Boone, you know you have a very strong bench, that your bench, especially for situations where you need to get in at bat against a tough right-handed pitcher or a right-handed pitcher, it is on the manager to utilize your bench. You want to win baseball games. I quite simply cannot sit here and accept the excuse that it's June and that it doesn't matter and that all that matters is what you do in the postseason. I agree in the sense that you shouldn't evaluate a team's season until we get to the postseason, but I firmly disagree with the idea that you shouldn't try to win baseball games within reason. I push back when people say that Ian Hamilton shouldn't come in down 3-1, and I get that. I agree. I get the dislike that for bringing in Hamilton there, but that's not, the Yankees have to save their arms. I get that. Batters don't function the same way pitchers do. Batters do not have to take a day off after getting an at bat. Batters are not one usage players. They are multi-usage players. They're players that can be utilized in multiple situations. And so I personally believe that that's something that Aaron Boone dropped the ball on. And, if you want to get better, you want to spark something, you want to go on a run, you want to avoid a slump, you have to, you're in a slump, you want to avoid this slump getting worse. You have to make those kinds of decisions to try and will a win out of this team. And that is something that I think Aaron Boone did drop the ball with. But the overarching issue I really have here is that the Yankees have to, as a team, the players have to perform better in these spots. It is not enough. It is not enough. We've gone too long. It has been 11 games of awful play with runners in scoring position. I simply do not need any more play like that. It has to end here. The slump has to end today. Like, that has to end today. You've played 11 horrific baseball games with runners in scoring position. Got to end. It's got to end right now. Like, you can have 11 really bad games. Can't make it 12 in a row. Can't make it 13, 14, 15, 16. Got to end today. It's got to be better today. It's got to be better tomorrow. It's got to be better the day after that. Well, it's an off day. But they have to win 2 straight and win this series. Point blank and simple. You have Rodon and Fried going. You absolutely must win those 2 games. No questions asked. There's no doubt in my mind that if the New York Yankees don't win these next 2 games, that they are going to be in very serious trouble with the American League East. The Yankees should trade for Willie Castro. So Willie Castro is someone that I mentioned at the top of the show. Again, Willie Castro is someone the New York Yankees displayed interest in trading for this past winter. And Willie Castro's had a brilliant season so far with the Minnesota Twins offensively. Now, defensively, he has shown a little bit of regression. And that is something that I am a little bit concerned about in terms of the Yankees' interest in him. As we're going to pull up his stats here. Okay, get rid of the overlay for now and this comment for now so that we can talk a little bit about this situation here. So Willie Castro this season has put up really strong numbers. He has a 133 weighted runs created plus, 88.4 average exit velocity, 7.1 barrel rate, 362 on base. He's chasing a little bit less, seeing a little less chase, a little more zone swing. So the swing decisions are marginally better. We're seeing more lift, fewer ground balls, more line drives. It's what we love to see. More walks, similar amount of strikeouts and contact. So that hasn't really changed at all. More hard hit baseballs, a 42.1% hard hit rate. Now, Willie Castro, again, defensively, huge step back from years past. He's currently pacing for his worst defensive season. Some of the reasons for this include he had 63 and a third really bad innings at third base, which is out of character because in his career, he's traditionally been a solid defensive third baseman. He's produced 1 defensive run saved, 2 fielding run value, 2 outs above average, 5.3 ultimate zone rating per 150 games. The third base production has been better usually than what we've seen, but 63 and a third innings, it's not going to outweigh the previous 458 innings of play at third. I'd be comfortable playing Willie Castro at third base. And with the bat, you're getting a good bat here. You're getting a guy who can really hit the baseball. He's got a really high expected weighted on base average compared to his years past. He's pulling the ball a lot, and he pulls the ball in the air a ton. Highest pull rate of his career with his normally high fly ball rates. He would immediately spark this offense. And, I know that as Brandon mentioned here, Willie Castro is not a dominant offensive bat. He's not a dominant offensive bat. He's not a number 3 hitter or a number 4 hitter, but we're comparing him to DJ LeMahieu, and I think he's a better hitter than DJ LeMahieu. And I also think he's going to open up the Yankee infield to be better defensively by having Jazz move back to second. And I think Willie can hold his own at third, even though, again, this season, very small sample size has not been very good, but it's very small sample size. You can't draw conclusions about a defender after 63 in a third innings. So, I personally believe that the Yankees are really, really good at, a lot of things this year. They pitch well. They can hit the long ball. They work walks. For the most part, their offense has been good this year. It's hit a slide lately. And I don't want to overreact to that slide to the point where I'm calling this a bad offense, but I do think they need to boost this offense. They need to give it a little bit of a jolt. And having that little bit of a jolt is something that can really help them. It allows you to have a little more pop at the back end of your offense. You have someone who has 7 home runs in 56 games and a swing that's built for Yankee Stadium. This is someone who's going to pace for about 20 home runs. That's something that I value. And, he's probably going to pace for about 30 doubles. So there's a decent amount of extra base hit power here. We're not talking about someone who's going to struggle to slug. He's going to have some slug. You hit him like 7th or 8th. As mentioned here, like 7th, 8th, 9th. He's just a no-brainer upgrade. I agree. Now, one thing I do want to push back on, and we're going to talk about him in a bit. We will talk about Ryan McMahon as well, but the player that I think we're going to want to talk about the most is Eugenio Suarez. Before we do that, though, I do want to address this right here. In order to stop slumps, the Yankees should focus on getting hits rather than home runs. I firmly disagree. The Yankees actually aren't slugging with runners in scoring position. They're actually striking out less in those situations than when there aren't runners in scoring position. So this is their strikeout rate. It's 23%. It's the 9th highest in Major League Baseball. Not alarming, not an alarmingly high number. That is fine. It's right around the league average. It's whatever. And if you look at that strikeout rate with runners gone, you got to also look at the isolated power. So 196. The Yankees are the second best power hitting team in baseball behind the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the second best offense in baseball behind, again, the Los Angeles Dodgers. You want to look at offensive runs, they're second behind the Dodgers. So even though the Cubs are a much better base running team, the Yankees just do a little more offensively to be the better offense. If you want to look at with runners on, though, we're going to look at with runners scoring position. And I might have been wrong about the strikeout thing. I don't know if I remember that correctly, but I know the strikeout rates aren't like dramatically higher. Yeah, it's 23%. It's actually the exact same. They're walking more, but look at the isolated power. It's 141. It's way lower. It's way lower than their slug in normal situations. They're barreling the ball less in those situations. There is a direct incentive to hit the ball hard, and that incentive, guys aren't trying to hit home runs, but they're trying to hit the ball hard. And when you hit the ball hard in the air, you can hit home runs. Now, when I talk about hitting home runs or hitting the ball hard, you can't hit for average if you're hitting the ball softly. You just can't. I know that people are going to point to Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez is not a good enough hitter at this point in his career. And that bat to ball, that hand-eye coordination, it tends to go very quickly. So you need to be able to hit the ball hard. And so the Yankees' issue with running scoring positions is that they're not generating any slug. Their average is 249. That's roughly where what they're hitting on the season. Their on base is 327. I guess that's a little lower than where they are on the season, but again, it's not dramatically lower. It's 341. It's higher, I believe, than what they have in the regular season. But this is the problem right here, that 390 slug. They are one of the worst teams at generating slug with runners in scoring position. They don't hit home runs with runners in scoring position. They actually do kind of have this approach of, we don't need to hit the home run. We just need to get on base. We just need to pass the baton. And I don't think that's the right approach. I think they need to be a little more aggressive. I think they need to try and hit the ball a little harder, get it in the air a little more, square it up more. They don't pull the ball a lot in those situations. So their offensive profile does not scream, oh, we're hitting home runs with runners in scoring position. It's screaming, when we get runners in scoring position, our slug goes away. Our slug is there only with no one on. So I know people are going to say that has something to do with an exploit with the Yankees. It's usually these things are just variance and noise, and they aren't, some grandiose plan from teams that have solved the Yankees. It's usually something as rudimentary as they're just not hitting in those spots. I think that they need to figure out a way to improve the offense, and the guy who I think is the perfect fit for that, and that's where we're going to get into Eugenio Suarez here. Eugenio Suarez, I know he's on the IL, and yes, he has a 1.168 OPS with runners in scoring position. Eugenio Suarez is, in my opinion, the best fit for the New York Yankees at this trade deadline. Jeff Passan gave him a 50% chance of being traded at this deadline. It's a coin flip. This year, worth 2.2 wins above replacement in 78 games, a 141 weighted runs created plus, a 25 home runs, ton of slug, ton of pull side pop, tons of pop, 14.6% barrel rate. The defense this year hasn't been great, but it's been better. The DRS was at -6 at one point, and it's dropped. His fielding run value has improved throughout the month of June. He has done a much better job of, just crushing baseballs and doing so in quality situations. And, this is a great point by Rexick here. every season, the team that out homers their opponent is like, yeah, they just dominate in the playoffs. If you out homer your opponent, you're going to do really well in the postseason. And the New York Yankees, they need something like Eugenio Suarez, who's going to, in runners and scoring position situations, hit that home run and change the game with one swing. You know, people are going to look at him as some strikeout guy who, and he does strike out a lot, who won't help you in these big spots. 234 weighted runs created plus this year in high leverage, 131 in his career in high leverage, 34 home runs in 618 high leverage at bats, 212 RBIs. When it matters, this guy hits. And I'm not saying that that's sticky or that's going to correlate to future results with men in scoring position he's hit this year. But it's to say that just because he's a strikeout guy, just because he has the profile of a hitter you may think is very streaky and that isn't going to particularly help you in these spots, it doesn't mean that this is a guy who can't help your offense, and doesn't mean that this isn't a guy you should target, and it doesn't mean he isn't a guy who hits in these spots traditionally. He's got tons of power. He's got 25 home runs this year. I believe it's in the top 4. Yep, it's fourth behind Ohtani, Judge, and Cal Raleigh. And if you look at the last few seasons, you want to date back to 2022 when he was first with the Mariners. Eugenio Suarez, 10th most home runs in baseball. You want to look at third baseman, who has the most home runs among third basemen over this stretch. It's Eugenio Suarez. You want to look at who has some of the most WAR over this stretch. 8th most WAR at third base. Eugenio Suarez, dating back to last year, who has the, you want to look at WAR again. He's 6th behind some of the best players in the game. He compares very similarly to a Rafael Devers in terms of WAR value. 236 games, 6.0 WAR, 6.2 WAR, 217 games. Very similar WAR value here. This guy's a stud, and it moves Jazz Chisholm back to second base. And that's something I do want to point out too. The Yankees need to move Jazz Chisholm back to second base. The defensive numbers at third base have been abhorrent this year, worth -3 defensive runs saved and -2 fielding run value in 146 innings. He is a dominant defensive second baseman. He's brilliant out there. This is about a season's worth of play, 1,500 innings, like a full 162, 10 defensive runs saved, 11 outs above average, 9 fielding run value. You need that at second. You don't want that at third. You need it at second. And yes, I talked about Eugenio Suarez's defense already. It's been better in June. Like, he got off to a really bad defensive start. Now he's more of like a net neutral defensively, and he's better than Jazz is defensively at third. That's, statistically speaking, he has been better than Jazz defensively, and Jazz is better than DJ defensively at second. So your defense gets better, your offense gets better, your team gets better. And you don't have to commit to him for multiple years. You don't have to look at Eugenio Suarez as someone that the New York Yankees have to acquire and then saddle the contract of for the 2026 and 2027 seasons. He is here for 1 year, and then you are done with him. And you can choose to bring him back. You can choose to let him go. You can go from there. And you wouldn't have to offer him the qualifying, or you wouldn't have to deal with the qualifying offer because he'd be traded. But even if he wasn't traded, he likely wouldn't have gotten the qualifying offer. You don't have to deal with a lot of the hurdles to re-sign him if you want to do that. The Yankees need this type of player. They do. And you start looking at this offense and what it could be. Let's say you have Trent Grisham leading off, Aaron Judge hitting second, Ben Rice hitting third, or Bellinger hitting third. Let's say Bellinger is hitting third. Bellinger hitting third. You could have Suarez hit fourth, Rice hits fifth, Stanton hit sixth, Chisholm hit seventh, Volpe hit eighth, and Wells hit ninth. That is the best lineup in baseball, guys. Bar none. Bar none, the best lineup in baseball. You want to throw Jason in there against righties. You want to swap Grisham out against lefties, whatever you got to do to you want to put Goldschmidt there against lefties. Bar none, it's the best offense in baseball, or the second best offense in baseball, but depending on how you look at the Dodgers. It pushes everyone down one. It adds some more power depth. It gives you some of that more explosive nature to you. The one thing the Yankees do kind of have is that Aaron Judge is kind of their big home run guy. And I do like a little more home run diversity. I'd like to have a little more homer depth. I'd like to know that I have more guys who can leave the yard a little more consistently. And Suarez provides you just that. What about Ke'Bryan Hayes, Ryan McMahon, Jordan Westburg, or Connor Norby for the infield? So I'm going to knock out Hayes and Norby here for performance. Those two have not performed well. And I simply do not want the New York Yankees to take on a project hitter unless that project hitter is, a guy who is putting up really good underlying numbers and bad results. These guys are doing both bad results, bad underlyings. For Ryan McMahon, he's a really good defensive player. He's a really, really premium defensive player. And I do like good defensive players. I do think that he has a lot of a lot of utility for a contender. But he's not my favorite fit. The underlying metrics are a lot better. 70th percentile xWOBA last year, 60th percentile. Bat speeds up. He's swinging the bat harder. He is making less contact, which is concerning, right? 35.2% whiff rate. Got to wonder if that's going to get worse when he's not playing in cores. So there are enough holes in his offensive game for me to be like, I don't think the Yankees should bank on him hitting. But I also think there are enough that the defense is so good that, he could be a 95 weighted runs created plus player and still put up, nearly 3 WAR value. He's a brilliant defensive third baseman. I also do wonder if there's that notion of, hey, this is someone who, the Yankees could make better, is someone who's played with bad player development. But as pointed out by Brendan here, look at the splits. Look at the splits. Home and away. OPS 827, 927 at home. It's just, 583 on the road. 62 strikeouts in 167 plate appearances versus 33 and 142. You just wonder what that cores effect is doing for that swing and miss rate, a swing and miss rate that's already in the second percentile. So there are real concerns to have here. There just are. And there are enough real concerns. And the Yankees are at a point where they would have to pay 2 more years of that contract. 2 more years of that contract. So yeah, I don't really know where things are at here. With I don't know. I have a really, really hard time sitting here and saying that the New York Yankees should commit to that for multiple years. Could the Yankees trade for Casey Schmidt? So Casey Schmidt is on the San Francisco Giants. The reason I'm going to say no is because the Giants need offense, and he's young, controllable, and a good hitter, or has been a good hitter the last 2 years in very limited sample sizes. I don't think that the Giants are going to deal a bat when they kind of need it. And for Tyler Fitzgerald, he just isn't a good bat. And you could trade for him, and I'm sure the Giants, they have a price they'd be willing to deal him for, but he has not been a productive hitter this year. The power is completely gone. His barrel rate has dropped. His whiff rate is up. His swing decisions are way worse. He's chasing way more. He strikes me as someone who was maybe lightning in a bottle last year, not really a quality major league hitter the way that he may have looked last year when he put up 3 wins above replacement, hit 15 home runs in 96 games with a 497 slug. Their striker rate is down by about 5%, but again, I just have a really hard time buying into this profile when everything's just worse. Everything is just worse. He's not hitting for power. Nothing will change. That's a very, very, very pessimistic way to look at it. I'm sure that the good times will roll just as the bad times have. I know people are going to say this happens every year. It's usually in July that it gets this bad. And then it's followed by a bad pitching slump. Now, that is something I'm worried about, that the Yankees have pitched really well in June and that they are bound to pitch poorly in June. Are bound to pitch poorly at some point. But they pitched bad to start June and then pitched really well after. So in June, the Yankees ERA is 3.24. It's the second best ERA in baseball. And they have gotten a little bit lucky. You look at some of the results. They're 5th and 6th in strikeout to walk rate. Good separation in ERA and Sierra, which means that there is some luck here. But I also don't think that the competition this month in terms of offense has been bad. I think they faced some good lineups. They faced some good teams that can hit. So I'm not really worried about the Yankees' ability to pitch. I guess. Let's see. The Yankees have anyone in the lower leagues developing. If we're talking about guys who can help them at the major league level, guys who are going to help them this year, Cam Schlittler is someone who I've repeatedly talked about as a guy who can help you at the big league level at some point this year. He has developed a lot more rapidly than I expected in terms of his AAA performance. I expected a little bit more of a slide. That hasn't really happened. He's been really good at the AAA level. He has displayed upper echelon velocity, really, really good breaking balls, really good cutter, really good shapes. I really like where his stuff is at. I personally believe that Cam Schlittler is someone who could also help the Yankees at a trade deadline, as much as that would pain me to say, because, I don't really like advertising, hey, this guy's trade bait. I don't think anyone's trade bait. I think that you are a prospect of note, and if you get traded, that means the other organization viewed something in you that they liked. I know that depth creates some more obvious prospects who could get traded. And I don't know if Schlittler is an obvious guy who's going to get traded, or a guy who he carries enough value and can help a team right now. And the Yankees may not need rotation help right now. Or need rotation help from the minor leagues right now. So is Schlittler someone who, like, the Yankees are able to deal and get to flip some value for? I do think Cam Schlittler, if we're talking about Eugenio Suarez, is someone who could really entice Arizona. Cam Schlittler is someone who would immediately slot into a rotation that is going to lose Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, either A, at the deadline, or B, in free agency, if they do not choose to extend either player or to sign either player in free agency. Furthermore, Corbin Burns underwent Tommy John surgery. Brandon Pfaadt has experienced a sharp regression. Eduardo Rodriguez has good underlying metrics, but still has a bad ERA. Joe Montgomery is set to miss the entire 2025 season with Tommy John surgery. AJ Puk has an elbow surgery. Justin Martinez is undergoing elbow surgery. Those are both high octane relievers for them. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have now had to place Corbin Carroll on the injured list with a fractured hand. So there is a lot going on in terms of injuries for the Diamondbacks, especially on the pitching side, and a lot of regression and a lot of guys leaving. Cam Schlittler strikes me as someone who can really help them immediately. And again, I love Schlittler. This is nothing against Schlittler. This is not personal. If he's watching this, or anyone in his family is watching this, this is not, oh, he sucks, get him out of here. It's, hey, he's really good. And, if he can't fit into the Yankee rotation plans this year or next year, Arizona is kind of a perfect spot for him if he wants to get to the big leagues this year. And I think he'd help them a lot. So just throwing that out there. Minnesota's got a lot of enticing bullpen arms. I love Danny Cullum. Danny Cullum is someone who I think is both affordable to acquire at the deadline and highly effective. He solves a very important need out of the bullpen. There are a couple left-handed relievers I really like. I like Jalen Beeks. I like Gregory Soto. I really liked AJ Puk, but he's undergoing season-ending surgery, it seems. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, Minnesota does have high-octane bullpen arms. I don't believe that the Yankees will pay the price for Yohan Duran, and I don't think they should, because that price is probably going to be it's going to be a lot. Like, you got to trade a lot to get him. He's very controllable. He's got multiple years of control. It took Nestor Cortez, who I know dealt with elbow injury, and there is that whole dealing with elbow injury. Brewers knew they were taking a guy with risk, but Yohan Duran is a premium level closer, and he is not a free agent for 2 more years. So he's got a 1.57 ERA. The Twins are going to shop him as, hey, he's as good as Devin Williams a few years ago. So yeah, I looked at where things are at there. And I think with the Yankees situation, off pitching wise, I don't think they should go after Yohan Duran. And I ultimately think with Yohan Duran, where I'm at with Yohan Duran is that he's really good. He's awesome. He's sick. I don't want to pay premium for a closer. I don't. The Yankees, they do such a good job at acquiring reliever value. They should not be paying a premium for a closer. They shouldn't. They just shouldn't. They should not. That shouldn't be the case. So yeah. We're going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes. Then we're going to keep doing live streams. So we're going to be here every Tuesday, not every Tuesday, every day at 2 p.m. Yohan Duran is someone who, to clarify, he's very good. And if the Yankees got him, they'd be a better team. But you're going to trade, they're going to ask you for George Lombard Jr. or Carlos Legrand. They're probably going to ask you for George Lombard Jr. I'm going to be completely honest. That's who they're asking for. So yeah. I see a question here about other players. Seth Halverson throws hard. Don't think the Rockies are going to move him. He's really good. I don't think they're going to trade him. Victor Vodnik, he's got too many questions for me to be like, oh yeah, if we acquire him, I want, like, this is the guy I want to bank my bullpen on. He has some serious command issues. Now his stuff is really good. He throws absolute gas, but I can't rely on him to throw strikes. And I fear he is someone who his velocity is better than his actual stuff. And then trying to think who else there's someone else that was mentioned here before I wrap things up. Oh, Rock Riggio. Rock Riggio is someone who, I think could get traded, and also is someone who could help the Yankees if they don't trade him. So, I personally think that Rock Riggio's breakout is legit. Like, he's hitting for a ton of power. But hopefully the New York Yankees find a way to either A, keep him long term if they have to, or B, they could find a way to get him to the big leagues. He's a second baseman. Don't know if he's a shortstop, and I don't know if he's a third baseman. Outside, so that there are some concerns in terms of versatility there. But yeah, Anthony Bender would be a solid pickup. He would be. But I think that they should aim a little higher in terms of the swing and miss. I want someone with more whiff potential. Definitely more whiff potential. Now we're going to start wrapping things up here. If you guys have any more final questions, shoot them in now. I had a little bit of a hiccup today with timing in terms of the situation. Like, I had a little bit of stuff going on at home, so I wanted to kind of stream a little earlier than this, but I couldn't. So hopefully, tomorrow I'll be more free. Then Thursday, I will not be streaming. Just to give you guys a heads up, I will not be streaming Thursday. I will be trying to head to Somerset that day. So, the goal is to get to Somerset that day. Brock Selvidge is throwing, so I'll get a little information on him. And, so hopefully, we are in a spot where, Friday we'll stream, probably give you a weekend stream. But yeah, give you a weekend stream to try and, be in a spot where we make up the 5 streams, because I know I'm not going to be streaming Thursday. So yeah, any more questions, any more stuff on that? If you're not watching this live, by the way, if this is you're rewatching this on the YouTube channel, appreciate you doing that anyways. I got a lot of people to rewatch yesterday's stream on the Prospect Report. Just know we're streaming at 2 p.m. That's why I kind of throw these reminders out here. So if you didn't catch this one, you can catch the next one, and you can ask questions and I'll answer them. These usually are going to be an hour. This one's going to be a little bit shorter because of that, of some of the stuff I had going on during the day. And yeah, so Wednesday I'll be back. Friday we'll stream again. Thursday, no stream. Off day for the Yankees as well. Going to Somerset, so we'll have that going on. And I don't see any more questions, so we're going to start wrapping things up here. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, asking questions, being engaged in here in the stream with the comments, with the questions. And yeah, hopefully we get some more people to view this and watch this, and we can get more people and we can get the streams popping the way they were a couple years ago. I know that I killed that off a little bit. That's on me. I take full accountability there, but hopefully I get some of the guys back, some of the people back. We'll have some guests, hopefully. So there's a lot going on, and really excited for that. See you guys the next one, though. Let's go Yankees. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and of course this YouTube page. Have a great rest of your day. EmpireSportsMedia.com has our written coverage, and let's go Yankees. Peace out, everyone.
Perfect.